And the tall trees here just ahead are eucalyptus trees, which were brought here from Australia back in the 1860s. In 1864, a New Zealand botanist, Valdemar Knudsen, planted a double row of eucalyptus along the road to Koloa. Eventually, this would grow into the tunnel of trees. And you drive through there on the way to Poipu or Koloa. Over the ridge, we can see the Waita Reservoir. It's a man-made reservoir, the largest in Hawaii. And originally, it was built as rice paddies for Japanese immigrant workers of the Koloa sugar mill. And that was the first sugar mill in Hawaii, founded back in 1835. Koloa means long sugar cane. And when we cross this ridge straight ahead, we'll be going directly over the tunnel of trees. We do have another tree from Australia here. In 1881, W.H. Purvis brought something here called bushnut. Now, you and I know it by another name. Thanks to Dr. John McAdams, who would roast them, salt them, and let people eat them, we call them macadamia nuts. Anyone like macadamia nuts? Oh, I love macadamia nuts. Even though they're 80 calories a nut before the chocolate goes on top. Thanks a lot, Steve. But they are good calories. The oil's 80% monounsaturated. The nut's high in fiber with an active ingredient, palmitoleic acid. Increases metabolism, reduces fat around the heart and liver. Eat all the mac nuts you can eat. You're doing the body good. A strategy that has slightly backfired on me. 22 years ago, I was on ESPN as a member of Basic Training, the aerobic workout with Ada Janklowitz. I was doing aerobics on TV for 4 years, the best shape of my life. Funny thing happens when you stop doing aerobics and start eating mac nuts. Yeah, a little more insulation, but my heart and liver, they're in great shape. Now the town Kalaheo to your left means the proud day. You may notice on the south side, you get all the blue sky and sunshine. The proud day. Kahili Ridge goes back to Mount Waialeale here to our right. The winds are coming towards us off Kahili Ridge. And just up ahead, when we're lined up with it, you feel it jiggle us around just a little bit. Alexander Reservoir is an agricultural reservoir. And there's those winds. Honopipe has a waterfalls in it that was in Jurassic Park. And so we're going to take a look in the valley of Honopipe for the Manawaipuna Falls. In the first movie, this is where the helicopter lands arriving at Jurassic Park. Well, let me know if you see a T-Rex or Velociraptor running around. Actually, I don't mind that. It's the flying pterodactyl. Kind of looking out for that right now. Isn't this beautiful? All right, Gil, you're going to have the first view. Eric, you'll have a view also here with Gil to the right-hand side. That's the Manawaipuna Falls. And we'll make turns so everyone gets a view. Aman and Navin going to have a great view here. Patrick and Nanette, you'll see it coming around here also. I call this timeshare. Everybody gets a view. That's amazing. That was in Jurassic Park right there. And imagine exchanging or renewing wedding vows in a helicopter in front of waterfalls. I can actually do that. I'm the only pastor pilot in the state. You saw The Bachelorette on TV. I was flying Jillian and Reed around Maui for the finale episode. And when I mentioned I could perform an aerial wedding, you should have seen Reed's face. Suddenly, the reality of the reality show set in. That poor guy thought he was getting hitched before landing. Turned out, no, he was getting ditched shortly after landing. There's not a lot of reality in that show. Beautiful, isn't it? In the back of the Hanapepe Valley, we see Mount Waialeale, and the clouds are actually condensing by the air being shoved over the top of it. That movement of air is also lifting us out of this valley at about 1,000 feet a minute. You don't have to fly harder if you fly smarter. You let the natural lift created do all the work, and it saves a lot of wear and tear on the engines. It saves a lot of fuel. And you get to show people a lot more flying around the island because you can actually climb out of the valleys a lot quicker. The new pilots have to learn that quick when they're flying tours here. Now we make another change in scenery. We climb out of the valley, and all of a sudden, you'll see what Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. He visited in 1866. Returning home, he would write, "I now know a place where the smell of the flowers blow across the sea, and though I might sit over 1,000 miles away, I can never forget this beautiful place, where waters deep and red still stir my imagination." And you can see what causes all that water deep and red. Look at all the red dirt. That's the oxidized iron in the soil. They actually dye t-shirts with it. If you go to stores, you'll see red dirt shirts for sale. It also dyes the water red in these streams heading out to the ocean, where you find the town Waimea means red water. That's where Captain James Cook first set foot on Hawaiian soil, January 16th, 1778. There was a coincidence during the visit. Hawaiians were celebrating makahiki. They would take big, white, square pieces of tapa cloth, attach it to wooden poles, and parade clockwise around the shore. Symbolically, it announced the coming of Lono from the sea. Here comes two ships, Discovery and Resolution. Both ships have big white square sails on their wooden mast poles, identical to the tapa cloth they were holding in their hands. They thought Captain Cook was Lono in the flesh. That status as a deity didn't last long. 1 year, 1 month later, he's at Kealakekua Bay on the Big Island. He gets into a skirmish with Hawaiians. He ends up cutting himself. He got into a skirmish, cut himself. When Hawaiians saw that he was bleeding, they knew he wasn't Lono. They killed him immediately.